So what truly makes a woman obsessed with a man? Well, first we have to talk about what is it that triggers attraction for a woman. And while there's a lot of things that you can describe attraction with, I've been trying and still trying in many ways to effectively boil it down to some simple concepts or ideas. And then once we have those ideas, we can then break those ideas down to understand what is it and how you can be that person as well. So what truly makes a woman obsessed with a man? I think the best way to be able to describe this is by understanding, of course, what women are attracted to and what they want. And then from that broad concept, we can then trickle down and understand how it all works together. But what I've really been able to put together, and something actually I learned from Tucker Max, if you remember him, he wrote a book a long time ago about his crazy stories with women. And then he did a podcast with a sociologist where they talked about mating strategies. And I think it was really cool what he said and what they discovered from their work together. They said that women really want a man who is effective. And it's hard to argue with this one. I know that there's a massive debate online about, well, no, it's looks, money, and status, and no, it's you can have game and you can be able to have personality, and there's a lot of clashing there. But I think we can all agree that even with both of those concepts, it comes down to being someone who's effective. So let's break that down. So whether or not you believe it's looks, money, and status, or behavior, or personality, or whatever it may be, effectiveness appears in both of these things. So if you are a guy who has status, if you're a guy who looks good, who is wealthy, you are effective, right? No doubt in anyone's mind. That's an effective member of society. That's a guy who is effective, meaning he is taking control and he has built something and he has done something. Well, let's say the other side, someone who is showing a personality or personality traits or qualities that are attractive to a woman, everything under that is going to be someone who is effective. So we talk a lot about personality traits that might be attractive, a guy who is confident, a guy who's assertive, a guy who's decisive. These are very alpha male attractive traits to a woman. All those have to do with being effective. If you're a guy who's assertive and decisive and taking action and confident, clearly you are effective. So I'd like to agree that no matter what game you're playing here in order to attract women, it all falls under the umbrella of being effective. And that's what truly makes a woman obsessed with a man, when she can meet a guy who has that. Now, again, let's talk about this debate for a second of, looks, money, status, personality traits, game, all of that. What you have to understand, and what nobody I think is really saying, is that all of it works and all of it is important. So yeah, you can be a guy who's like super good looking, super wealthy and have all of that. But if you don't have any personality behind it or any game, so to speak, or understand how to have the personality traits that are attractive to a woman and the behaviors that are attractive to a woman, you're not going to go that far. I know this for a fact. I've worked with hundreds of clients who are anywhere from wealthy to super wealthy, multimillionaires. And the only sex that they're getting are being able to hire a prostitute. They don't know how to meet a woman, how to attract a woman. So we have to work on some of that behavior. Now, on the other end, you can be a guy who has the potential qualities and personality traits of a guy who's attractive, but confident, assertive, someone who's just really effective, and then be not attractive, super broke, and you can probably get a girl for a night if you have a really good game and know what you're doing, but you're not going to be able to keep a woman around per se. So again, ultimately, it's everything that's the most important in terms of getting a woman obsessed with you and attracted to you. You as a man should be working on all of that. You shouldn't be picking or choosing, nor should you be giving up. So if you are a guy who's going, okay, it's looks, money, status, and I don't have any of that, and so nothing's going to happen for me, well, yeah, then nothing's going to happen for you. Or if you're a guy who's like, well, I'm going to wear what I want, and I'm going to do my passion, do what I want for work. I don't care if it's making no money, and I'm just going to work on game. Well, then you're going to end up with the kinds of women who are just going to be interested in that, and it's not going to be pretty. You have to be working on all of it. So here's how I would do it. Now let's break this up a little bit. I like to separate these ideas so we can easily learn from them. Let's talk about your outer qualities, your inner qualities. Outer qualities, simply put, looks, money, status, lifestyle. Inner qualities, your personality traits, your behavior, the way that you act. Now, lifestyle takes a little bit longer. However, it's something that is okay that it takes longer. Why? Because you should be working on that as a man in your life anyways. You should always be working on trying to make more money, trying to be more fit, trying to dress well, trying to look better. All those things are super important. And you have to be working on those. And those things can take years. Now, there's little hacks you can do and things you can do within maybe a week to look better or, maybe get a job that's making you more money. Who knows? But ideally, you're always working on that. And the cool thing about that is when you work on some of those things, eventually you're going to be doing those for yourself. So life is going to get better for you. And the byproduct of that is going to be women. So that's outer qualities, something you'll work on for the long term. And then your inner qualities. This is something that you might be working on for the long term. Maybe you're always tweaking and getting better at it, but it's something a little bit more short term, something that you can fix within a year. Working on being more decisive, being more confident, or becoming more confident, I should say, and becoming someone who is really being an effective man by using his behavior. Let's go deeper into that for a second. Learning how to talk to women and be charismatic. Again, we're talking about inner qualities. Learning how to be a person who can socialize and talk to women and be comfortable with that. That can take only a few months to a year. Confidence comes from competence. So confidence with women only comes from being able to talk to more women. That can also happen in less than a year. So you get a little bit of quick ROI when you work on some of the game or personality traits and dive deeper into that. That can get you a little bit quicker ROI, but you still need to be working on the other things in the meantime. So as you work on both processes, they are happening simultaneously. They're happening at once, but just in a little bit of a different way. Point being, you need to be working on all of it to be the most effective man that you can be. And what's subconsciously happening when she meets you and she's picking up all these different qualities, outer and inner, that show that you're an effective man, this is when she goes, I need to be with this guy. And this guy is no longer a commodity, but someone who is rare and I can be with and I can want to spend time with, sleep with, whatever it is that you might be looking for, you'll be able to have. But you have to work on both things. And I don't want you to be giving up and thinking that it's one or the other. It has to be everything and all at once. I know this can be overwhelming for some people. Wow, that's a lot to deal with. That's a lot to work on. But if you start the process, you can start knocking things off left and right. I actually have a course that guides guys through this. It's called Hooked. I have a link in the description down below for guys to check that out and learn more about how to work with their inner and outer qualities to be that effective guy. Once they start going, they're never going to turn back because they're going to see how much it actually works.